Welcome back, everybody, to the Pittsburgh Pirates franchise here on MLB The Show 20. As today, we got a busy episode, one of the longer ones so far of the series, so get your popcorn ready, because it's going to be fun. Today, we got the MLB Draft along with 2 games afterwards, so this should be a good time. Our Pirates hold the 6th pick in the first round, as well as every other round. Currently, we are a game behind first place in the division with a record of 37-25. It looks like it's going to be a race between us and Milwaukee for this NL Central. St. Louis is also in the race, but it's been neck and neck between us and the Brewers. I want to take a quick look at the numbers so far, pretty much through May. Kevin Newman not doing well. Brian Reynolds was hitting like .320 a week ago. I don't know what's happened to have him fall to .296. And I'd like to see some more power from Reynolds. He hit 20 home runs last year, so I'd like to see him do a little bit better. Josh Bell has obviously been phenomenal, the current NL MVP favorite. Chris Davis, more of a bench bat. Dylan Carlson having a nice rookie year. Moran, solid. Bo Bichette's been playing well since the trade. Francisco Mejia has still been awesome this year. Cruz, solid. Stalling, solid. Rest of the bench, solid. And then the pitching rotation, your NL favorite for Cy Young, Jameson Taillon, still killing it. 10-0, 2.89 ERA. Musgrove's doing pretty well. Williams doing well. Yamamoto not great. And Mitch Keller still has an ERA at 3.6. You'll love to see it. And then the rest of the bullpen, outside of really Adrubre Ramos, is doing really well. And even Ramos is starting to play a little bit better. So I'm really happy with the way the pitching is going this year for the most part. We are going to make a few signings in free agency, trying to add a few minor league bodies, including outfielder Jared Makepeace, 27 years old, great contact, great speed. He only has deep potential, and he's not powerful at all and cannot play defense, but he's a guy who can be a solid minor leaguer, and then same can be said for Gosuke Kato. 68 overall with C potential. I guess he does have a better chance of eventually reaching the big leagues, but I'm not signing either of these guys with the intent to have them as long-term pieces of our future. I'm just trying to add some more players to the AA and AAA squads. So now it's time to look at some of the blue-chip prospects. Last year there was about 20. This year we got like 10, which is fine since we're picking in the top 10, including closer John Jarrell, one of many closers in this class. Shortstop Chuck Alonso, raw prospect, but has a lot of upside. Only 18 years old, can play the middle infield. Juan Nunez from Venezuela, one of the more raw closers. A lot of the relievers projected to go in the top 10 are a little bit more MLB ready, but Nunez does look solid. Billy Shealy has an MLB ETA of 2022. That's next year. So he's a guy who I think could make an early impact for whoever picks him. David Cullen, he's another one of those more raw relievers, has an MLB ETA of post-2025, so he might take a little bit longer to come up. Eloy Zepeda, an outfielder, blazing speed, raw bat, raw defensively. He does not look very good right now, not huge on his skill set, but he does have upside. Richie Scadam, another closer, he's a lefty, has some great skills, including good hits per 9, good Ks per 9. Philip Yoshida, another one of the raw closers, MLB ETA of 2025 or later. Pablo Cairo, this guy looks like a stud. Could come up next year, phenomenal bat, solid defensively, pretty good on the base passes. Only 18 years old as well out of Venezuela. He looks like a monster, and I do kind of want another outfielder, so maybe we look at him. Rob De La Cruz from the Dominican Republic, a raw starting pitcher. And then the other blueprint starting pitcher is Garrett Roberts, also raw, but he has a sick beard, so that gets him some bonus points. So there is certainly some talent in this draft class, and then some talented players as we go across the board as well. Pretty much after the first round, it's sort of a guessing game. But last year, I think we had a pretty good draft. Obviously, our first rounder was phenomenal in Santiago Osuna. But even after the first round, I did think we did a pretty good job. So what are we looking for? I definitely want to draft a few starters. I'd like to draft a few relievers as well. And then for hitters, just go for the best available. I'd like to add another outfielder. I'd like to add another catcher as well. We don't really have a whole lot of young catchers in the minor leagues. I think Francisco Mejia is our franchise catcher for these next few seasons. However, I would like to get some young guys with upside in the minor league system, and then maybe adding an infielder would not be a bad idea either. So there are a lot of different routes we could go with. But let's end the wait, let's end the anticipation, and let's get on with the draft. channel legends could be picked today by this Pirates team. So let's get this show officially underway. As I said, we have pick 6. I think we also had like a competitive round A pick. I think that would have been 32nd overall in the draft. So here we go. The Tigers picking first. The Orioles, Royals, Mariners, and Mets will also be picking above us. The Mets had the same record as us. I guess they got the tiebreaker. Hopefully they don't pick whoever we would end up selecting. So, as you can see, here are the rest of our picks. As I mentioned, we did have an extra one right after the first round, which is pretty good. And now, let's get this underway. John Jarrell goes number 1 to the Tigers. Yoshida, De La Cruz, Roberts, and Alonso are the next 4 selections. So, who are we going to go with this pick? It was pretty easy for me. With the 6th pick in the 2021 Major League Baseball Amateur Draft, the Pittsburgh Pirates select Pablo Cairo, outfielder from Venezuela. I would have probably picked him if we had the number 1 pick. This is the guy I have wanted all along, and we do end up getting him. His bat is absolutely phenomenal. I think he could really make a high impact right away. So our competitive balance round A selection, I wanted to go for a reliever, and there are 2 that entice me. The first one is Patrick Waldron, and the second one is Gaylord Dixian. Yes, that is his name. Dixian is a little bit more raw, but he's also younger, and the tiebreaker here was the name. I had to go for Gaylord. I couldn't really pass the memes up. So now on to the second round. We are deciding between 3 starting pitchers. The first one is David Rosa from Alabama. He's a guy who's probably going to be really good right off the bat. The next one is Frank Aponte from the Dominican Republic, another guy who should be very good right at the start. And then the last one is Felipe Benitez, another 2022 MLB ETA, 70 overall, 80 potential. And of this group, I kind of like Benitez's skill set the best, so I would end up selecting him. All of these pitchers I'm considering are over 21, which does kind of suck. But, oh well, it is what it is. So now on to round 3. Our Pirates will be selecting Kiki Javere, a switch-hitting first baseman from Georgia. Good contact, excellent power. He should be a great bat in the minor league system. Last year, we drafted a pair of first basemen, and Benny Lang and Sean Humber, just based on their bats alone. Benny Lang, I think, is a big part of our future. Sean Humber, maybe not as much. On round 4, we're going to go with third baseman Israel Cuevas from Puerto Rico. Another talented bat, good mix of contact and power. Not great defensively or on the base passes, but what I like in my position players is guys who can hit the ball through contact and power. On to round 5. Remember that Patrick Waldron guy we were considering with our competitive round A pick or whatever? He is still on the board, so we will select him here. We cannot let him fall anymore. I think he is a little bit too good to pass up. He is 23 years old, which is annoying, but for a 5th rounder, I do really like him. And then our last pick, as you can tell, there's no one really good who we've scouted, so it's just anyone's guess at this point. And we're going to go with starting pitcher Barak Herzog, a guy who should be pretty good right away, doesn't have a whole ton of potential. We've barely scouted him, so he could be really bad, or who knows, he could be really good. So that would do it now for the 2021 draft, and bang! We had a phenomenal draft, in my opinion, starting with Pablo Cairo. 73 overall, 92 potential. After going through everybody's draft, I think this is the best player in the entire class. The highest potential was only 94 out of anybody. Cairo reminds me a lot of Juan Soto. He's going to make a high impact right away, phenomenal bat, and he's a guy who could play as early as 19. I think the only difference is Juan Soto is better defensively, and he is a lefty. Gaylord Dixian, 64 overall, 89 potential, so he practically has an A. Felipe Benitez, 65 overall, 85 potential. I think that's a good selection for the second round. Our next pick was the first baseman, Kiki Javere. 80 potential, 63 overall, so he's sort of a poor man's Benny Lang with less contact. He'll probably start in AAA next season, assuming Lang is with the big league club. If not, then who knows, because both of them can only play first base, which does kind of suck. Our 4th round selection was third baseman Israel Cuevas. 61 overall, 76 potential, but I like his skill set. You know, he is raw, he has good power, good contact, isn't all that good otherwise, but I think he has the potential to be a major league bench bat. He'll probably start in Double-A. He'll need a few years to progress, but I think he could be a bench bat long term. Round 5, Patrick Waldron, 63 overall, 86 potential. Great late round steal for us. Gaylor Dixon is actually a rating better, which is kind of interesting. And then the 6th round, Barak Herzog. I don't even think this is that bad. 70 overall with 72 potential, so he does not have a lot of room to grow. But maybe he performs really well in the minors and progresses. I think he has a chance to be a potential long reliever for us. So we drafted 7 players, all of whom I think have a chance to potentially make an impact on the major league rosters. So that's quite impressive. Here's a look at the rest of the drafts. There's David Cullen, one of the blue chip players, 93 potential. The Dodgers, they didn't do anything crazy. The Padres got Juan Nunez, 91 potential. Richie Scadam went to the Giants. He looks like one of the better closers who were picked in the top 10 when it's all said and done. Philip Yoshida, 94 potential. That's tied for the highest for anybody in this draft class. I would say it was kind of a weaker class. The Red Sox, nothing crazy. The Yankees, nothing crazy either. But they did draft that David Rosa guy we were considering, and wow, we missed on Benitez, as Rosa is a 73 overall with 88 potential. He would have been a better pick than Benitez, which does kind of suck. Emerson Hutton, 71 overall, 86 potential. He looks really good going to the Toronto Blue Jays. Tim Kelly, an outfielder, I was kind of looking at him. He ends up going to the White Sox. He looks pretty good. The Indians had a really bad draft, and they even picked an F reliever. Ouch. John Jarrell, number 1 overall to the Tigers, 94 potential, 64 overall. The Royals got starting pitcher Rob De La Cruz, and they also drafted an F reliever. The Twins had a solid draft. Cesar Munoz looks pretty solid. Nothing crazy from them. Same can be said for the Angels. They drafted 2 high B potential players. The A's got a late round steal, and Mark Pyle, 99 velocity, but terrible hits per 9, terrible Ks per 9. He is a very weird prospect. Garrett Roberts, 51 overall. He gets an extra 20 ratings because of his beard. Eloy Zepeda is really bad, but has upside. I'm happy we picked Cairo over him. The Braves, a few solid late round selections. The Marlins, pretty uneventful draft. Actually, a pretty bad draft, I would say, for Miami. The Nationals, their first 2 players have B potential, not bad. The Mets drafted shortstop Chuck Alonso. And then the other starting pitcher we were considering, Luis Rosales, is also better than Benitez. 70 overall, 84 potential, so that's an oof. Phillies, pretty solid draft. Cubs drafted a 61 potential relief pitcher in the first round. Yikes. The Reds got Craig Roper with their first round selection, the only A potential player in the draft who is not a blue chip prospect. And then Billy Shealy of the Brewers, 71 overall, 92 potential as a closer. Maybe Josh Hader's spot is up for grabs in a few years. We'll have to see. So speaking of the Brewers, we have a series coming up against them right after the draft, a 4-game set on the road. We won the first 2 games, which is pretty big. So now game 3, if we can take this game, that means we've already won the series headed into the final game of it. So that's quite impactful, I suppose. Here's a look at both lineups. 1 to 9 on the mound for the Brewers would be their ace, Brandon Woodruff, who's been excellent this year. 8-2, 2.23 ERA, 0.93 whip. He has been outstanding for Milwaukee, and he will be a tough test for this Pirates lineup. As we go top 1, here's Brian Reynolds, who's obviously had a pretty rough week and a half stretch. He's going to start this game off with a single, so that's a good beginning for the Pirates. Here's Dylan Carlson now with 2 outs. That one goes backwards. The catcher, Manny Pena, will get it, and Reynolds' base hit is all for nothing. As we go to the bottom of the first, Mitch Keller on the hill for the Pirates. He's had a surprisingly pretty good season. 3.60 ERA, 1.25 whip. That's very respectable. Here's Jorge Polanco with a full count pitch here in the bottom of the frame. Gets that one into right. And that'll be extra bases for Polanco, a double. The former all-star with the Minnesota Twins. There's Christian Yelich. He's just a window shopper because he's just looking. And then Miguel Sano swinging a little bit too early at the slider. Good end of the inning for Keller. As we go to the second, O'Neal Cruz fouls a pitch off. I don't know why that was in the video, but just go with it. 2-2 count. He will strike out. Nice pitch from Woodruff. Now here's Francisco Mejia, the leading vote getter for all catchers who could be all-stars in the NL. He'll reach first on an error. Then here's Colin Moran, 1-2 pitch. He's going to go down looking on the outside fastball as we go to the top of the third now. Full count for Reynolds, who already has one base hit, almost got another. But Brandon Woodruff is able to make the play, robbing him of a potential single as we go to the bottom of the third. Score remains tied at 0 as leading off the inning is for rookie Donovan Casey, who will get a single. And that'll bring up Corey Ray, former top 5 pick out of the University of Louisville. He's going to get a single into right. Big game for Corey Ray. Now 2 on, 2 out for Christian Yelich. He's going to capitalize. Run will come home to score. Carlson has a noodle arm. And that is going to be a run for Donovan Casey and the Brewers. And then Miguel Sano going to try to keep the fun up. Single into straightaway center. Run will head home. The throw is not even going towards home. Reynolds will get it to third. So the Brewers will take a 2-0 lead as we go to the top of the fourth. Here's Josh Bell, who had 2 home runs in the first game of this series, had another in game 2, and now in the third game, he will get that one into straightaway center, his 22nd of the season, and the NL MVP favorite will cut the lead in half, making it 2-1. But the fun's not quite done. Here is Bo Bichette getting that one in the second deck, out and left, and the Pirates will tie this game up. Bo's 7th home run of the season as it's now 2 apiece. Here is Daniel Murphy. Nobody out, runner on. He's going to ground into the 3-6-2 double play. The Pirate infield has more chemistry than a science project. As we go to the top of the 5th, here is Mitch Keller leading the inning off with a single. The next batter would strike out, and Brandon Woodruff's day would mysteriously end. Bubba Derby is in. I don't know if Brandon Woodruff got hurt or something. His pitch count was only in the low 70s, so I don't really think there was much of a reason for Milwaukee to take him out. As Brian Reynolds rips a single. 2 on, 1 out for Josh Bell. He's going to strike out. Nice pitch from Derby. As we go to the bottom of the 5th, here is pinch hitter Omar Narvaez, the catcher. He will take that one into right for a dinger, and the Milwaukee Brewers will regain the lead. His 11th home run of the season, 448 feet. My golly. As here's Jorge Polanco, a couple batters later, going to ground into the 6-4-3 double play. Nice play by the Pittsburgh infield. Later in the bottom of the 5th, Miguel Sano gets that one over the head of Dylan Carlson. Yelich will come home to score, and that'll be an RBI double for Sano, making it 4-2. Let's go to the top of the 6th. Pitching change for the Brewers. Jake Faria is now going to be in for Milwaukee. This is his 38th appearance of the season. As here is the catcher, Francisco Mejia. Rips that one to second. The play is made by Keston Hiura. Very solid inning for Faria. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. Here's Daniel Murphy. He's going to draw a walk with 1 out, and the Pirates are not going to waste any time as Mitch Keller's day will be done, and Michael Feliz will enter. As Logan Davidson, the pitch hitter with 2 outs, he will draw a walk. 2 on, 2 outs for Corey Ray, who will capitalize. Single into left. Moran will just get it off to the cutoff man. And Milwaukee now leads it 5-2 as we go to the 7th. Brent Suter now in for Milwaukee. Here is Matt Duffy going to pinch hit for the pitcher spot, and he will get a single into left. So maybe Pittsburgh can start a little bit of a rally here. As I would bring up Kevin Newman, 0 for 3 so far on the day. Obviously has not lived up to expectations this season, but he will rip a single into left as well. So that'll put 2 on. And 2 outs now for the big fella, Josh Bell. And that one is going to be put into center for a single. Duffy will come home to score, and Newman will slide to third safely, and the Pirates will cut the lead down to 2. Here's the next batter, Dylan Carlson. That one is placed into left center for a base hit. Run comes home to score. Pirates now cut the lead down in half to 1. As we go to the bottom of the 7th, Aroydis Vizcaino in for Pittsburgh. He's had a dominant season. Sub 1.3 ERA. He's been great as he strikes out Miguel Sano. Here is Keston Hiura. Going to go down on the sinker, and we move to the 8th. The lefty, Alex Claudio, is in for Milwaukee, his 9th appearance of the season. He has not allowed a run so far. Good for him. As here is Francisco Mejia with 1 out. That one is going to be chopping gap into the right center field for a double. So the tying run is on base. Here's the pinch hitter, Chris Davis, with 2 outs, and he will strike out on the outside. Change up as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Drew Bray Ramos now in for the Pirates. He's gotten that ERA now lower than 5, so that's good, as he's going to strike out Daniel Murphy, the veteran. Here is Donovan Casey now. Later in the inning, that one will get by Reynolds. The throw to second is not quite in time. That'll be a double for Casey. Can the Brewers drive him in? They will not, as Moran catches the fly ball in left, and we head to the 9th. Corey Knebel on for the save. He is 13 for 15 in save opportunities, 2.75 ERA, as it'll be Kevin Newman leading off the frame, and he will get a single into center field. So just like that, the potential tying run is on base, and now the go-ahead run is on. Brian Reynolds rips a single into center. So 2 on, no outs for the big fella, Josh Bell. His 2nd home run of the game in straightaway center, his 5th of the series, and 448 feet of pure glory, his 23rd homer of the season. And Pittsburgh will take a 7-5 lead. Pitching change for Milwaukee, J.P. Thierson now into the game. He's going to try to pad the bleeding. 1 out for Bo Bichette. Weakly hit. However, that one would drop for a single, as the center fielder is unable to dive for it successfully. Here's O'Neal Cruz now, lines that one right to second. Hira to Polanco to first. Daniel Murphy makes the play, and we will head to the bottom of the 9th. Pirates up by a 2 because of the 3-run dinger from Josh Bell. Ken Giles will go for the save. He's 18 for 20 in save ops, as the Brewers are down to their final strike. It's Christian Yelich who will get a base hit into center. That'll be a double. Now the tying run is up at the plate. Miguel Sano, 1-1 count, grounded to short. O'Neal Cruz bobbles it. The play at first is in time, and the Pirates will steal a game away from the Brewers. This is one that Pittsburgh should have lost, but they get the win courteous of a monster game from Josh Bell, as he finished with 3 base hits, 2 home runs, including the game winner of the 9th, and 5 RBIs. Bo Bichette also had hit a solo home run, and Francisco Mejia with a double. Carlson handed the other RBI. Mitch Keller was decent, not great. The bullpen did an excellent job of finishing the game off. Meanwhile, for Milwaukee, 3-hit game for Corey Ray. Christian Yelich played very well. Narvaez with the home run, bunch of extra base hits. Brandon Woodruff, I don't know why he was taken out. And then I think the Brewers used pretty much their whole bullpen outside of Josh Hader the rest of the way. Literally, that is, I think, 7 relievers they used? Holy cow. So we would simulate a week, and we would go 0-5. Nice. Lose the final game of the series against Milwaukee, swept by Washington, and opening up a 2-game frame against St. Louis with a loss. I believe we are now 2.5 games behind the Brewers for first. Could be wrong about that number. As the final game of the 2-game set here at PNC Park between the 40-30 Pirates and the 37-34 St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals rocking their baby blue alternates today. I'm not as huge on the baby blues as others, but I do think they still look pretty nice. Jamison Tyone on the hill tonight for the Pirates. He took his first actual loss of the season. That was the final game of the Brewers series, as here is Trey Mancini, part of the 3-team deal last season to send top prospect Dylan Carlson of the Pirates. Of course, that's worked out quite well for Pittsburgh, as Mancini rips an RBI double, making it 1-0. Carlos Martinez on the hill for the Cardinals, 5-3, 3.50 ERA. The Pirates hit off Martinez well earlier in the season, so let's see if they can get similar results in this one, as Brian Reynolds hits that one right off his behind for a base hit. Martinez would be shaken up, but elected to stay in the game, as here is Josh Bell, the next batter, going to hit that one off the wall in right for a double. Reynolds would only stay at third, not trying to risk it. So that would lead to 2 runners in scoring position to be exact. 1 out for Carlson, who's going to swing it for high heat. And then that'll bring up Bo Bichette. And that one will go into the seats, out into left field. Bo Bichette's 9th home run of the season. Of course, he was acquired by the Pirates in early May, and he was playing pretty badly with the Blue Jays. Has played a lot better since the trade to Pittsburgh. Let's go to the top of the second. Here is Tyler O'Neill. Rips that one into center. Brian Reynolds with some weird movement, okay. As the speedy O'Neill going to round second, head to third. The throw from Cruz is in time. Tyler O'Neill trying to be a little bit too antsy, and he would be out. For whatever reason, the first time we saw the Cardinals this season, they were over-aggressive on the base pass, and the same could be said for this game. As Devi Grullon strikes out, now on to the bottom of the second, the Pirates can continue to hit the ball well as Brian Reynolds rips an RBI single. Run home comes home to score as it's now 4-1. But the fun isn't quite over. Here comes Josh Bell, going to get that one into the right center field seats for a dinger. As it's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's a bomb. And the Pirates will take a commanding 6-1 lead. Here comes Dylan Carlson now, the next batter of the inning. That one will go shop and gap into right center for a double. And Carlos Martinez's disaster of a day would come to an end. Carlson actually going to round second, head to third for a triple, and he would be barely safe, his second triple of the season, as Jesse Hahn would enter for the Cardinals. 27 appearances, 4.5 ERA. Very average season for Hahn, nothing too special. Would Carlson score? No, he would not, as Bo Bichette grounds out. Hahn ends the inning successfully, and we now go to the third inning. Here's Colton Wong, the leadoff hitter, places that one into left field. It will barely drop for a single, and it will go for a little bit more as Moran unable to field it. And that'll be a double for Colton Wong. Here's Harrison Bader, the next batter. That one going into center, and my Long Locks brethren with a 2-run shot, and the Cardinals will make it 6-3. Bader's 6th home run of the season, 404 feet. And now here's Goldilocks, Paul Goldschmidt. That one would be fielded successfully by Bo Bichette, getting dirty, diving on the ground, getting freaky. Let's go to the bottom of the third. Here is Francisco Mejia swinging pretty early at the off-speed curveball. Now into the top of the fourth. Here's the speedster Tommy Edman. He would strike out. And then another speedster, Tyler O'Neill, on the 1-2 pitch. He'd go down on the outside slider. Tyone, not his best performance so far, but that was a good inning. Now to the bottom of the fourth. Speaking of Tyone, he's going to get a single into center. Nice hit for the pitcher, and he would be driven in, as here is Brian Reynolds hitting balls deep and right, 369 feet into the stands. It only his 4th home run of the season. I would like to see Reynolds hit for more power, especially after he hit 20 home runs last year. And the Pirates will now make it 8-3. And he's not quite done. 2 outs for Dylan Carlson against his former organization, ripping a single into center. Would he be driven in? The answer to that question is a humble no, as Bo Bichette grounds out to third. The play is made at second by Colton Wong. And we now advance to the 5th inning. 1-2 pitch for the veteran, Matt Carpenter. He's just a window shopper because he's just looking. Or if anything, he's a window maker since he's a carpenter. Anyway, on to the bottom of the 5th. Genesis Cabrera is in for the Cardinals. He's going to strike out Mejia on the outside fastball. And now lefty-on-lefty crime for Colin Moran. And he will go down swinging on the curveball as we go to the 6th. Here is the Cardinals, currently down by 5, trying to get back into this game. And they will do that, as that will be an RBI double for Paul DeJong. And the Cardinals are now only down by 4. And then here's Tommy Edman ripping a single into center. DeJong headed home. The throw to the plate would be very bad. Actually, Reynolds was trying to throw it to second, and it was a very bad throw, so Edman is safe. And then here is a walk for Tyler O'Neill. 2 on, 2 outs for Devi Grullon, and he would strike out. That would end Jameson Tyone's day. Not his best performance, but the bats were with him, I suppose. As we go to the bottom of the 6th, here's Kevin Newman on a 1-1 count. That one is lined into left for a base hit. Probably could have been a double had it not hit the foul wall, but still a base hit nonetheless. 2 outs, 2 on now for Dylan Carlson, and that ball is higher than J.R. Smith during Game 1 of the 2018 NBA Finals, as it would be caught in center by Harrison Bader. Pitching change for the Pirates as we advance to the 7th. Emmanuel Clase now in for Pittsburgh, as his 7th inning would go quite successful. Harrison Bader flying out to left. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Clase and the Pirates. On the bottom of the 7th, Cody Whitley now in for St. Louis. It's been a rough year for him, 6.32 ERA. His first batter would be Bo Bichette. His second base hit of the day, that'd be a single into center. And now 2 outs for Colin Moran, weak grounder to second. So Whitley's inning would go pretty successfully as we move to the 8th. Paul DeJong going down in the low 99-mile-an-hour cutter. Colase's cutter is absolutely scary, and he utilized that quite well in this game. As we now move to the top of the 9th, Ken Giles in for the save for Pittsburgh. He is now 19 for 21 on save ops, as he's going to strike out Tommy Edman. Next batter, Davy Grulon, striking out on the two-seam fastball. That's how this game would end. The Pirates win it by a score of 5-8. Pittsburgh's 5-game losing streak would go to an end as they improved to 41-30. The Cardinal offense wasn't too bad. Home run for Bader, a bunch of extra base hits for them. Carlos Martinez was very bad, and the bullpen was solid. Our offense was great, 8 runs off of 12 hits. The offense was great in the Milwaukee game we just saw, and it was great today. Home runs for Bichette, Reynolds, and Bell. RBIs for all 3 of them respectively. Carlson and Bell also other extra base hits. Jameson Taillon, not with his best performance, but he got the win. And then Clase and Giles, neither of them allowed a base runner. So that is quite impressive. We would simulate another week after that, and luckily we would not go winless this time. We had a 3-game set against Arizona. We would only take 1 of 3, but we did have to face off against their 3 best pitchers, Corey Kluber, Luke Weaver, and Madison Bumgarner, who have all been great. And then we took 2 of 3 against the Cubs. That'll bring us here late into June. 3 more series is left in the month. We got the Braves, Orioles, and Marlins. I'll probably show gameplay for 2 of those series, or at least 1 game in each of those series. We're also nearing the All-Star break as well. That'll be coming up shortly. I'm not going to do a deep dive into stats just because it's been a very long episode. I figured I would probably show it at the beginning of next episode. But I do want to show you Josh Bell's because he has been outstanding. Peace out.